right, folks, welcome back to Scary People. I'm your host, Brett Big Schwag Wagner. This is the Monster Machine, Steve and Niver. We're here to bring you all things scary all the time. Steve, a lot of horror news going on this week. Let's jump right into it.
Got Steaklander.
Steaklander. Now, one of my favorite horror movies over the last 10 years, folks, was Steakland. Nick D'Amici as Mr. and Connor Paolo as Martin. I hope I'm saying his last name right, but Connor Paolo, I am saying it right.
Yeah.
Look, it was one of those horror movies that I got it on a whim. I got a DVD at some place for like $1.99. Yes, Steven and myself are the king of finding 99-cent DVDs, but I loved it. It was kind of a new take on vampires.
It takes a lot to do that because you've done vampires to death. Like there's too many of them. And this was a nice, fresh take on it.
It was a nice, fresh...
cool way of killing vampires.
Yeah, I mean, look, and they drop vampires...
Out of helicopters.
Yeah, they're dropping vampires
awesome.
out of helicopters to get the people down below. There's a bad sect of these over-the-top Christian, fanatics, and they don't like the people trying to survive on the ground, so they take these vampires up in a helicopter and drop them right into the compound. Genius! Anyways, Sci-Fi Channel put out Steaklander. It's Steakland 2 called Steaklander. It's not bad.
I'm waiting for the DVD because I want to see if it's gorier.
So there was some pit fighting. They had a weird old couple that wants to eat Martin, and Martin, goes through the whole film trying to find Mr. Nick D'Amici. Now Nick, we liked him because Nick, he's a very good actor. He did a movie called Late Phases.
It was great.
Great.
Werewolves in a
retirement community. So if you get a chance,
what a great concept.
I suggest you go out and get Steakland. See Late Phases. Great. A veteran gets put in. He's blind. Gets put into a retirement community, and there's werewolves tearing apart the community. All right, Stephen. Dusk Till Dawn, Season 3, El Rey Network.
I can't believe they managed to stretch this show beyond the movies.
Yeah.
And the show's great. The first season, someone gave me a DVD of it, and I binge watched it in a weekend.
Binge watch it.
I can't believe it.
Let's talk about the stars, starring Zane Holtz, DJ Catrona, Aiza Gonzalez, who is besides my wife, is the sexiest thing on TV. Hope she's not watching. I'll get in trouble with that. Jesse Garcia, Madison Davenport, and Brandon Soho? How do you say it?
I'd say Suhu.
Season 3 was great. Now look at folks. Robert Rodriguez, he's great. Created the El Rey Network, and it's Lucha Libre, Lucha Underground, horror movies galore.
Different monsters. There's different monsters on every episode.
Every episode of Dusk Till Dawn, Season 3, you got monsters. You got
not just vampires.
Tom Savini, Jake Busey, Jaguar Warriors, Cannibals. It's like a throwback to Buffy and Angel, which were great series because every single week there was a different monster.
And that's what you want.
We suggest you go get it. Season 3, it's out on DVD. Okay, Convention, Supernatural. Now it's on the WB and the CW. Now, folks, Supernatural has been on TV for 13 years.
13 years. I've only seen it once, I have to say.
February 9th through the 12th, Las Vegas at the Rio Suites Hotels. Jensen Ackles, Jared Padalecki, Misha Collins. Look if you're a girl and you're young, this is the show for you.
Those dream boats, look at those.
Look at those. Now listen, this convention, let me tell you something. They got $299 sold-out pajama party with Kim Rhodes and Brianna Buckmaster. Ghost hunt with Chad Lindbergh. Fiend karaoke night. As I said, it's going to be crazy. 13 seasons, nuts. Now, FX, coming out, Legion, created by Noah Hawley, and I guess it's associated with the X-Men movie.
Yeah, it's a precursor to I think they're also going to launch an X-Men TV show, and this is like sort of a precursor to that.
Legion follows the story of David Haller, a troubled young man who may be more than human, but I think it's a thinking man show.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked at the trailers.
Lots of effects, though.
I liked it. It's a thinking man show. It stars Dan Stevens, who is also, he's going to be in the new, Beauty and the Beast with Emma Watson.
Yep.
All this stuff going on, folks. Legion airs tonight on FX. Check your local listings for times. And then, of course, Sunday, February 12th, the show that can't be killed, the show that won't stop. The Walking Dead's coming back. What will Negan do next? Will Carol come out of hiding? Will the tiger survive? Because that's really what we worry about. All right, and we want to send a shout. Who do we want to send a shout out to there?
Lon Chaney Jr.
This
February
Friday,
10th.
February 10th.
Happy
man, is his
birthday, Lon.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, folks, but when we come back in the studio, we're going to have the incredible actor, Martin Klebba, to learn about his latest projects. But for now, take a look at our sit-down with Naomi Grossman.
There was this movie, I think it's Disney. It was called Watcher in the Woods. It horrified me. But I loved it.
Yes.
That said, I lived in this bubble where television was the devil, and not like we were uber religious or anything like that. It was more just my parents were like super kind of very cultured, you know, symphony going. If it wasn't like Cosmos with Carl Sagan or you know, Sunday Morning with Charles Kuralt.
Carl Sagan's scary to me because I didn't understand
Right?
the guy.
The universe.
All right, folks, welcome back to Scary People as we get into the brutal truth with our guest, Martin Klebba. Bam! Thanks for coming out, man. It is an honor to have you here. Now, listen, before we get into, you know, your vast background in stunts and acting, 1994, you ran a 1384 in the 100 meters and a 6 flat in the 40-yard dash. I mean, in my heyday, in my greatest, when I was an athlete in high school, I only ran a 5 flat in the 40. Were you an athlete growing up in Michigan?
I always wanted to be. A lot of my friends would say when we played football, dude, if you were average size, you definitely would be going pro, you know, someday. But I was always, you know, just always trying to stay with my friends, whether it was riding bikes or whatever. So, you know, I was in a lot better shape back then.
A 6 flat in the 40-yard dash, most men today can't even do that. All right, let's get started in the business. How did you get started in the business? Because I looked and a lot of stunts. One of your first credits was The Hand That Rocks the Cradle in 1992.
Yep, I did. I doubled the little girl Emma, and did a couple scenes in that. And then I was still living in Michigan back then, and only doing Broadway on between Radio City Music Hall and the Madison Square Garden.
You were doing Broadway?
Yeah, I did. I did the Christmas show at Radio City for 10 years.
Wow, very cool.
So it was great. I mean, I made a boatload of money for a young guy. I was making like 60 grand for 10 weeks. Go home, and then I couldn't wait to get back because I was, you know, draining my money not doing anything the rest of the year.
So you got the acting bug right there.
I did.
But so doing stunts. I know you did a lot of stunts on, like, I mean, what's Leprechaun 2, Van Helsing, Zombieland, Jurassic World.
Jurassic World.
Is that how you kind of broke into the film business?
I did. Well, I moved when I was done with Radio City in 2000. I didn't know really what I wanted to do, and forever all the little people that I had knew had said, "Oh, you don't want to move to LA because, you know, there's so much competition. You're not going to work." And I just said, you know what? I've got to at least try. So I got
How
my
old
one
were
buddy.
you?
I was 30.
Okay.
So me and my buddy drove across, nothing to do, no job, no nothing. Went down to Universal Studios to try to get on there, and luckily got it doing a show. As a character, I was Alvin of the Chipmunks. But we weren't one of the guys that were walking around the park shaking hands.
Taking pictures.
Yeah, no discredit to them, because it's brutal when it's 100 degrees outside and you're inside those things. But we did 6 shows a day, a little, you know, dance number for the kids. And at the same time they were doing that, they were also doing auditions for Waterworld. And they really wanted to use me, but they weren't sure that the rigs that was already set up, that I would fit it.
Yeah, a lot of people, and even, believe me, I even tried out myself for many of the Universal. A lot of people that are actors or stuntmen will go over there, do the shows, make a little money, and then hope that they get regular acting work.
Yep.
And then, I mean, I know it's a big deal when you can say, "Goodbye, Waterworld.
Right.
I'm out of here and
Yeah.
I'm working."
And a lot of them go back. They know it's, you know,
Sure.
you'll get 30 guys to do 7 parts, and they rotate each other out. You know, they can be doing a picture, and hey, the next man on the totem pole comes in.
Yeah.
He's making some bank, and then, you know, maybe.
Sure.
I had a
Hey,
buddy who
listen,
did T2.
It's a good gig, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it pays the bills. So, stunts or acting? If you had your choice, what would it be?
I'm an actor that does stunts.
Okay.
But I'm not an actor because I want to be famous or to be known. Because to me, I just like entertaining people or bringing a smile
Sure.
to
But
someone's face.
everybody knows your face as soon as they
Well,
see
no,
you.
yeah. I mean, I don't have to.
mean-
A lot of people still go, "Hey, mini me," and I have to say, Vern's like this tall.
But
And
Pirates of the Caribbean,
Yeah.
I mean, that's like easily one of the biggest franchises of all time.
I think it's probably in the top 5.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
were
there's some
talking
big
about that.
franchises. Yeah.
That's massive. And honestly, you wouldn't have thought that when the first one came out, pirate movies, I mean, we were just waiting for that to bomb.
Yeah,
And it
all
was
of them have always
huge.
bombed, and it was weird because I was doing Haunted Mansion and another movie called Looney Tunes Back in Action.
Okay.
And Disney had thought that Haunted Mansion was going to be their big, the big movie, and Pirates was whatever. And it turned the opposite. It was like Haunted Mansion was a bomb,
And Pirates
Pirates
a
is
phenomenon.
huge. But Johnny Depp, Johnny's, no matter what he does, he's amazing. Whether his movies are a huge box office or just great,
Right.
acting things.
What scares Marty Klebba?
Not being able to provide for my kids. That's it.
Yeah.
That's,
You got 2 kids.
yeah, I have a son who's 20, and he'll be 20 next week. Oh no, wait, 2 days. 2 days from now.
Yeah, don't screw that up.
Yeah, this Friday. And then my daughter, 4, who is with my wife now, Michelle.
Yeah. We'll send this little shout out to Michelle. How are
Michelle,
you?
my
How are
baby.
you, Michelle?
I don't know where you're at.
Yeah,
but
yeah. How you doing, Michelle? Now look, coming out, we brought you in because we have a video on demand coming out. Eloise, right? It's 4 friends break into an abandoned horror asylum in search of a death certificate so they can make some money. Robert Patrick, good cast, you're in it.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I'm just one of the, it was another one of those actor that's doing stunts kind of a job.
Sure.
But, the interesting thing is that it's, well, you named pretty much the plot of the story, but Eloise was a true,
Insane asylum.
yeah, in Detroit on the west side.
okay.
And they used to do a lot of crazy stuff in there, like, electric shock treatment and stuff that they thought that would heal people, and eventually it was shut down. But they say it's haunted and it's creepy. The places that I filmed mostly was in, they used the Masonic Temple in downtown Detroit. And that's scary too, because that's got over 1,000 rooms inside the temple, and no one person has been in all 1,000 rooms.
Wow. So you also, this is a nice thing you do. You run a nonprofit called the Coalition for Dwarf Advocacy. Give me a little shout out on that.
CODA is run by my friend Colin McConnell and myself. Originally started with me and my friend Matt Roloff from Little People Big World. But I've always thought about, children that don't have homes, that need to be adopted.
Sure.
And it really hit me when I found out that in other countries, if you're born different in any kind of a way, you're like, you bring shame to the family.
Sure.
So you're put away. And so there's all these dwarf children out there that need to be adopted. And a lot of, in the US or a lot of countries, when 2 dwarf people get married, there's a great chance that the child might get both dominant genes and they can't conceive a child that's going to live.
Yeah.
So eventually they just say, you know what, let's adopt. So
Listen, it's a good thing. All right,
awesome.
couple questions here. What TV show or role you wish you could have done?
Game of Thrones.
All right, and
Peter Dinklage he's the shit though. That guy's a fucking amazing actor.
would you get naked for the right role?
Hell yeah.
You heard it right there, folks. Listen, we had a great time today. Want to thank Marty Klebba for coming in. Thanks, brother.
So cool.
Always.
Take a look. Hey, listen, coming up, we're going to go into the vault. Don't go anywhere. Scary People is coming right back. All right, folks, Brett Big Swag Wagner, the Monster Machine, Steven Niver, and we are excited to bring to you a new TV show, Scary People. Where's it going to be, Swag? The Stream.tv. We are going to be interviewing actors and directors from your favorite horror projects.
Hey, this is Robert Patrick.
I'm Lee Scott.
I'm Naomi Grossman. You're watching Scary People.
We're going to keep you up to date with all the latest horror news.
You heard it right there. Ooh, we're in a blockbuster movie this year, Lights Out.
I am coming out on a movie called Velisca.
I'm currently working on a conspiracy thriller that has a bit of a horror edge about the U.S. government.
We're going to go deep into the vault for your favorite horror classics. What's the first scary movie that really had an impact on you?
Frankenstein.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, was a horrifying film.
When The Thing happened, that was it. I was solidified that I wanted to do makeup effects.
We're going to talk everything scary, folks, from TV shows to movies, celebrities, directors, comics, toys, horror movie conventions on Scary People.
Right here on the Stream.tv.
Don't turn away.
All right, folks, welcome back to Scary People. Now listen, we're going into the vault. This is one of my favorite segments where Steven and myself pick a movie that we love, and this is passion for us because between the both of us, we probably got 4,000 DVDs amongst VHS and comic books and everything else. But today, Steve, I am picking 1979, The Prophecy, the monster movie, directed by John Frankenheimer. Now, if I told you in 1979, John Frankenheimer, at the point, probably when he was one of the most famous directors at the time, Manchurian Candidate, Black Sunday, French Connection 2, you would say, oh, this is going to be a political thriller.
Yeah, or anything but.
Let me tell you, cast, Talia Shire, folks, Rocky, Robert Foxworth, Armand Asante, and a guy that we both love because he's been in a ton of movies, Richard Dysart. What was he in?
The Thing.
The Thing!
Doc Copper.
But no, it was a full-fledged horror movie. Now, let me just give you the basic gist of this. A logging company's waste is flowing into the water. It's polluting the environment, creating a bunch of mutant animals and one giant killer bear. Tagline, she lives. Don't move. Don't breathe. She will find you. Your first impressions about the Prophecy, the monster movie.
When you see the poster, you think it's going to be a total monster mash, like just gore, onslaught. The movie itself isn't like that. The movie itself is a slow burn.
It is a slow burn.
You know, but it's a very well crafted.
Yep.
There is a little bit of a political thriller intertwined in with the horror movie. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Sure.
You have the Native Americans versus the logging company. You know, you've got your greatest 70 fro with Robert Foxworth.
Robert Foxworth, yeah, who was a big actor in the 70s with his big fro. He's a doctor, right?
Yeah.
And he's coming in, and they're like, listen, just come on up here, take a look at the water. We want to make sure that nobody's getting polluted. And then you have the logging company, who is like, we're doing nothing wrong. These Indians, Armand Asante playing an Indian he looked like it. He looked really well. He did a good job. And they're getting drunk, and they're very violent, but they weren't.
No.
It was the pollution that was coming from the paper,
water
the
that they're
logging.
drinking.
And not only that, but listen, to this day, one of my favorite guilty pleasures. I will watch this a couple times a year. I have the poster at home. I love it. And look at giant tadpoles, rabid raccoons, the sleeping bag.
A pig bear monster. Yeah, the exploding sleeping bag.
One of
That's
the
an
greatest. I
amazing
still say,
scene.
folks, if you haven't watched, if you can just go on YouTube and type in Prophecy sleeping bag scene, and you'll see it. It's great. Kids hopping in the sleeping bag, and the giant pig bear, we like to call it, goes wham, and this thing goes sliding across the room.
Explodes.
It explodes with feathers. At
awesome.
the beginning of the movie, the very beginning, a search party with dogs, and they're running through. It's dark at night. You're going, what's going on?
like
You know,
E.T.
it's a search
almost.
party, and then the dog. They're like, man, the dogs are onto something. The dog runs right off the side of a cliff, and then we get into it. But definitely one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's great. It's a lot of
great,
fun.
and that they had a huge legit. I mean, you know, John Frankenheimer directing it.
Big Paramount movie. This
Big
was no
thumbs up.
This was no joke.
Now let's go into what do you got, Steven? What do you got for me?
Well, when we do these into the vaults, I try to pick a movie that pairs well with the other movie, and
Sure.
I think this time I went with another Animals Amok movie with Day of the Animals from 1977, William Girdler, and it does go well with Prophecy. All-star cast.
Sure.
Lots of ridiculous dialogue,
Yep.
lots of outrageous gore. Leslie Nielsen hamming it up so much that they had to have handed him the role in Airplane after this, because that was the last time he played anything serious that
He
I
was
can
mean.
recall.
He was mean. He was
and
violent.
way over the top.
It's like
It was so much fun.
if you can picture a guy who got on steroids all of a sudden and now he wants to conquer the world. This
Yeah.
had to do with
This was the ozone layer being
Ozone layer.
depleted over the, I'm not sure what, Yellowstone or something, but it makes all the animals go crazy for about 24 hours.
Can you just imagine on that set? I mean, if you watch the movie, and it's a great poster too. It comes in that movie will come sometimes in a 3-pack set with Grizzly.
Yeah, which is awesome.
The
Another
Daily
Bill
Animals,
Girdler
and then
movie.
something else. But it's awesome. The poster's great. But a lot of these animals, man. Today, I don't know if with
PETA, you could never
PETA and some
make a
other
movie
people,
now.
you would never be able to do this movie. But bears, mountain lions.
Dogs, all the dogs.
Dogs, all the dogs. I mean, the bears,
Snakes,
the rattlesnakes.
in the cars. Oh my goodness.
Unbelievable. Well, very nice. Let me give you, look at it. Bam. So Prophecy, Day of the Animals. Now let's get into a little bit today. Today in 1980, folks, The Fog was released. February 8th, 1980, The Fog. John Carpenter. Theatrically released, one of our favorite
amazing.
movies.
It's amazing.
Now, you're going to give him a little tidbit real quick on this because that movie, when it came out, it was a little different. And then because of Friday the 13th and all the gore and violence,
Yeah,
they had to change
They
something.
went back and they inserted some gore scenes. They shot an additional bit on the boat with the three fishermen.
Yeah.
Because the movie was a little too much of a slow burn, like Halloween.
It was
and
basically
they
supposed to be a
wanted it more.
ghost story.
Yeah, and it was perfect the way it was.
And
but-
the remake, we won't talk
no,
about that
we're
so
not.
much.
Another show. Hold it.
John Carpenter, The Fog. I mean, that's a great thing. No, listen, folks, we appreciate you coming out. This is Scary People, all right? Well, we want to thank all our friends today that came in. Hey, send us your question and comments using hashtag Scary People Show. You want to follow us on the internet and everywhere at Scary People Show. Share this video, subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching Scary People on the stream.tv. We'll see you next time with special guest, special scary guest, director Bill Lustig. We're out!